Hey, what's up guys, Riv here. Welcome to day 8 of what's been described as Collargate, a situation where Hasan Piker is facing mass criticism for his treatment of his dog Kaya live on Twitch. Now, it's not hard to believe it keeps dragging on because every single day something worse happens, and today is no exception. We're going to look at another resurfaced clip that has gone viral, where people are looking at the treatment of Kaya by Hasan Piker, and we're also going to look at more sweeping, not just from his sycophant friends in LA, but we're going to see journalists enter the fray and do their best to defend this guy and give him some positive PR, just as they have in his recent controversies as well. But let's get a quick 30-second recap to understand where we are. So, about a week ago, Hasan Piker had a clip go viral where his dog Kaya took one step off of her mats, and then he seemed to reach for a button, press it, she yelps in pain, and now people think she is wearing a shock collar. Hasan makes a million excuses for it, saying there's no collar, it's just a vibrating collar, but then he comes out showing this on screen the next day, and people realize there's duct tape or electrical tape wrapped around it, and it seems like the electrical prongs have been removed. And then yesterday we looked at another clip that has been analyzed where he had what appears to be a remote for that same unit on his desk, and when he noticed he was on camera and that was in the shot, he pushed it off screen. Now, there's also been a lot of resurfaced clips of his treatment involving his dog Kaya, and he's responded to that by saying they're all out of context. If you support them, you're crazy, you're mentally ill, and also you're a Zionist, and yada yada yada. But, of course, things have gotten worse today. It's gotten worse for the guy who's been described as many as the possible left's answer to Joe Rogan. Well, it turns out he's much more like Michael Vick. Now, I stole that from Shoe on Head. It was too good to pass up, but in case you don't know, Michael Vick is a former NFL star. He was a quarterback who he ended up pleading guilty to charges involving his participation in a dogfighting ring. But we have this clip that Tectone and many others have shared where he is showing off his dog Kaya, quote unquote, interacting and learning socialization with another dog. And this is his very bizarre reaction to his dog being bitten and tossed around. Enthusiasm is the sort of response we're looking at here.
I don't know if putting them in a confined space like this together is a good idea, but we're about to see very quickly. She will most likely recognize, she will very quickly learn that that's probably a mistake. Because if she keeps pushing Fiona, Fiona is going to bite. Oh, there we go. Good job, Fiona. You tell her. One thing I will tell you, I've seen her. Kaya is really funny when she's scared. Being scared, but it gives me anxiety. Maybe it's me. No, I want her to bite her. What do you mean? That they had to chop it. I know Fiona wants out. She's not getting out, though. Fiona snaps at her. She'll just go, ah, 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 and like run away. Run away like a goofball crying. It's the funniest thing on the planet. Oh, Fiona, stay in there. She needs to learn. See? See? She wants out. See?
The wind, children.
Did you see that? I want you guys to see what happens when she actually gets scared. It's so fucking funny.
Now, I don't know about you guys, and please let your thoughts be known in the comments section, but of all the clips that have resurfaced, this is, to me, one of the weirdest ones, because he is just reveling in his dog Kaya, socializing with this other dog, against its will, right? It can't leave, it's stuck in this cage, and it's a situation, like many involving the Kaya clips, where even his own chat, even the people who worship him, are concerned, and they don't like what they're seeing, and even asking him to let the dogs go or let them out, because he's sitting there reveling in his dog Kaya being bitten and tossed around in the octagon over here. And you know, like the other situations where people are like, man, you know what? If he's going to put a shock collar on his dog, the equal punishment is to put one on him. Now, we know he might like that, so that's not a very good route, but maybe he should go in the octagon, go in the cage. Maybe he finally fights Sam Hyde. I don't know, that'd be a great event. People would buy way more tickets to that than anything like Creator Clash, but anyways, let's move on to the next part of this video, and that is the sweeping. We've seen his LA friends do a lot of sweeping for this guy, putting their careers on the line to lie for this guy in their defense of him to try to make him look good so they can ensure they're going to get another collab with this dude. And now we have a new opponent entering the Thunderdome, and that is journalists. Journalists have been somewhat neutral. They're clearly biased towards Hasan, but now we're having puff pieces, and it's ridiculous. Beginning with The Hollywood Reporter, came out with their Creator A-list, the 50 hottest influencers on the planet for the year 2025. And you already knew he was going to make an appearance. Hasan Piker in spot number 15. A little lower than normal. That's their punishment, I guess. But you can see down here, when asked if he's going to be a politician, he says no, because you can't podcast your way out of this situation, out of this problem we're facing. Well, he can't really podcast his way out of this entire thing. It's not working. And also, look at the photo they used on the cover image. Interesting. Showing him as a loving dog owner. Totally not a coincidence, guys. Totally not a coincidence. But let's move on to another example, this time coming from Nathan Grayson, who wrote an article defending Hasan with every ounce of his being over the Collargate situation. The article is absolute trash, as expected, from this former Kotaku journalist. Yes, this guy didn't have enough journalistic integrity to stay with Kotaku. In fact, this guy is actually like the epicenter of the original Gamergate back 11 years ago at this point, because he faced allegations that he was, let's just say, exchanging romantic favors with developers in order to give positive coverage of their games in his articles at Kotaku. And eventually he would move on shortly after from his job at Kotaku. And the comments are just ripping this guy apart. Followed by Hasan. Wow, what a coincidence. The guy who's followed by Hasan is making a positive article about him. You're literally the guy that got fired from Kotaku for sleeping with game developers and giving them better coverage. Why should anyone listen to you, that user says. So much misinfo in one article. You downplay him pulling his dog from the tail, which is absolutely abuse. It's part of their spine and has tons of nerves. QT saw the collar. It was taped up that covered the prong holes. It was a shock collar. Yeah, the fact that he's trying to downplay pulling a dog by its tail, never do that. That's super dangerous. But of course, we're dealing with Kotaku here. What do you expect? But there's someone kind of related to Kotaku. This person, Caroline Kwan, another influencer streamer out of LA who is going to do some sweeping for Hasan. And she was talked about by Kotaku not that long ago. She was described as someone leading the charge, transforming Twitch into a home for political commentary. What a great choice that was. That's how we got to where we are now, unfortunately. But yeah, she would do some sweeping for Hasan, saying it's not a shock collar.
I know it probably doesn't matter to you because you're going to believe what you want to believe and from the sources you want to believe it from. And that's why, like, doesn't matter what I or anyone else says, but it's not a shock collar. I've seen that collar. I've used that collar before. I've babysat that dog. But again, it doesn't matter. I also said too, you know, I think it was something Hasan didn't realize in the moment that it was going to end up being a shitstorm like this. And so when it happened and people were mentioning in chat, he just did not address it because he, as I said, didn't think this was going to be the result. But that person really typed out XQC the debunker. Yeah. I mean, I also like I have texts between myself and Boy who was watching Kaya after I watched Kaya, where I was like, "Oh, this is the collar. You don't have, she doesn't even wear it most of the time. Is when she's in the house. She has really good recall, like her training, et cetera, et cetera. But it does not matter because it just, as I said, people just dig their heels in even more.
It's just so interesting to see all these people come out of the LA woodwork to defend Hasan Piker no matter what. And this is really bad because this was made a couple days ago, and since then, we saw that Cutie Cinderella, another streamer, came out and said, I've seen the dog and I've been to Hasan's house and I know it's a shock collar, but he removed the prongs and yada 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 because he just wanted the vibrating function, which is a direct contradiction to what Hasan has said all along, but it's also a direct contradiction to what this person is saying. So there's layers upon layers of lies. This person just looks desperate to get attention and to secure her good candor with Hasan Piker. And it's amazing what this guy can make all of these people do. They will do anything to defend this guy. And another person I want to give a quick update on is Pokimane, who had a situation we talked about the other day where her podcast was supposed to have an episode with Hasan release, and the staff released a statement saying, we're not going to release the episode now, we're not comfortable, yada, yada, yada. Pokimane came out and was angry and saying, I didn't sign off on this statement, and it's basically the staff's fault for doing this, and we're going to have a hiatus in a week. She threw them under the bus, the staff, that is, in order to preserve her relationship with Hasan Piker. But now Ethan Klein has come out and explained why all of this is happening and why so many of these people are defending him. Well, it's a pattern of behavior that he's done for a while where he basically dials these people up and says, hey, you better change your tune on me if you made me look bad in any sort of a way.
The last sentence is really kind of crazy for me. The also will go on a hiatus to restructure.
It's been a traumatic thing. Like, they need to take a break. Because I've seen this happen to Son so many times. When any of his perceived friends go against him, he calls them.
Yeah.
He texts them. He's done it to XQC. He did it to Mizkiz. He did it to Ludwig. He did it the other day to Charlie. After he saw his videos, like, you know what? I'm texting him. So he for sure messaged or called Pokimane and like chewed her out hard for this, right? Because that's how he keeps everybody in line. But anyway, no hate to Pokey because I'm sure it's a super awkward situation.
Yeah, for sure.
And was very
they're just trying to
timed.
They're trying to navigate it like anybody.
You know, it's fine. Do your thing, girl. You know what? You sell those cookies.
You sell those cookies, girl.
Girl, you decide the price on those cookies, man. Let the market decide if they're worth it or not.
I am absolutely not surprised at all that someone who is viewed as a narcissist like Hasan would go out and call people and text them and make sure that they correct what he believes is some kind of trespass on him, because he is also very influential and they believe they have to keep him happy to keep their careers growing. A lot of soulless people in that scene, that LA streaming scene, and I wouldn't wish that location, that scene on my worst enemy. I don't care if it would be worth millions. Not worth it. Not worth everything they do. It's a very shallow existence. And then there was another person who came out to defend Hasan, another clip that's getting a lot of attention. This person, Vanilla Mace. I have not heard of them before, but they're part of the scene. And let's listen to what they have to say.
There's a video of Kaya, Hasan's dog. She's sitting in her dog bed. Hasan's like ranting about something, and then Kaya gets up and he's like, Kaya, like lay down, like lay back down. And then Kaya yelps, like whatever, Kaya lays back down. The lengths that people are going to see, they're like editing his picture and turning up the contrast where he showed the collar.
I can't listen anymore. I'm good. I've seen enough. Basically, in the span of 15 seconds, she says, oh, these people heard this dog yelp in pain. Whatever. What do you mean, whatever? Any sensible dog owner hears their dog yelp in pain, they immediately go check on it. Instead, Hasan turned around and gave it a death stare. But yeah, dog yelps, whatever. That's kind of like the crux of why this all started. It's very important. People thought that's weird, and his excuses have been debunked. He's lied multiple times, and she's now angry because people are investigating this and showing and producing proof that it's very likely he owns not just a shock collar, but a specific version. The sweeping never stops, ladies and gentlemen, but Asmongold has something to say about this, and I think it's a good point how down the road, it's always going to come back to you.
It is funny for me to see all this happen and to see these people tripping and falling over each other to try to defend this behavior. I think it's going to continue, unfortunately, and I think that to the extent that it does continue, you will have all these people increasingly damage their image, which is the only thing that they care about, and I think that it will have a lasting effect. I think people will remember this, people will keep bringing it up, and even 2 or 3 years from now, they might not want to hear this, but it's going to be true. 2 or 3 years from now, people are going to make YouTube videos and talk about the fact that you did this, and they're going to remember it, and people in the comments are going to remember it, and they're going to shit on you for it, and they're going to say this bad stuff about it to you for it, and there's nothing you can do about it at this point because you've already decided to position yourself in this way, and that's it. And also, by the way, think about all of the bad things that I've done. People still remember all of those. Think about all of the bad things that other streamers have done. People still remember all of those. Do you really think this is going to be so different? It won't be.
I'm going to read one more thing here from Tectone, where he's saying this is one of the biggest cover-ups in Twitch history, and I am very inclined to agree. We've never seen a situation where someone's clearly in the wrong and there's so much proof against them, but every big streamer around him is throwing their careers potentially into the mud to lie and grovel for this man. But he continues on saying, Hasan is actively abusing his dog in front of everyone's eyes on stream, and streamer after streamer are denying it. They're denying something that we can all see, and the worst thing is, it's working. People are starting to second guess their own eyes because their parasocial relationships are so strong. Hasan has stopped mentioning it. He paid moderators on live stream fails to remove as much mention of it as possible, as mods will ban you in his or any of his orbiters' chat for bringing it up. His orbiters going live attempting to cover it up because some didn't have their stories straight and skipped up. Thanks, Cutie Cinderella. Streamers like Train and XQC were treated like delusional schizos when they were some of the main streamers explaining what was happening that everyone else was denying. If we let them move on, this is how this continues. I want to remind you, Hasan on stream in front of everyone has abused and endangered his dog's life, called for the death of a senator, falsely slandered other streamers with career-ending allegations, used his enormous audience to brigade and scare people into silence, supported terrorism, threatened viewers' life with a gun and doxed them, attended a Diddy party, went and had sex at a brothel that was confirmed to have at least one minor, as well as sex-trafficked workers, encouraged his audience to actively kill innocent people in the streets. These are things that he knows, we knows, and Twitch knows, and still nothing has happened because he's the golden boy. Twitch still keep him because they want the money and the exposure he brings to the platform, and far worse, they agree with him. The streamers that defend him are doing so because they either want his clout, they agree with him, or they're afraid of what his audience might do if they speak out. This is a very unsettling event we are all witnessing in real time. Well said, and this is a very good point up here about people being told to not believe something that they're seeing with their own eyes. If you're watching this and you're trying to be objective, you see a very clear picture in front of you, and then these streamers, these sweepers for Hasan, come in and say, you're crazy. No, it's actually this way. And of course, their story doesn't make any sense. They're all contradicting one another because they didn't get their story straight. But they're trying to make you feel like you're crazy for coming to a conclusion based on what you saw with your own eyes. That's how hard they're fighting for this guy. But overall, the situation is repugnant, and It shows really what's going on with Twitch, even more than we already knew, which was not very good. And on top of that, well, it's going to continue. I'm very confident there'll be more tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, because Hasan might have shut his mouth, but his past content is still active and resurfacing, and also his friends and his journalists, sweepers, they're not shutting up because they want to preserve the goodwill of Hasan Piker. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.